Leeds United had been in touch. Don Revie had been made the England manager, and Brian, in spite of being the most ferocious critic of Revie and Leeds, took the job. He wanted, as he says, another taste of European football, and who better to provide that than the current league champions? But the players didn't take kindly to all that Clough criticism.
I think Don was a little bit upset when I described Norman Hunter as a hard player. Leeds were a hard team long before I came into management. I think I can hardly be blamed for that.
Hard or not, this was the style, the class and the talent that he'd inherited from Don Revie.
To say that Leeds are playing with Southampton is the understatement of the season. Poor Southampton just don't know what day it is. Every man jack of this Leeds side is now turning it on. Oh, look at that! It's almost cruel. The Ellen Road crowd are lapping it up. For the second home match running, Leeds United are turning on a brilliant show, and the other team are just not on the park.
I was so naive in those days that I used to think they could take the criticism, people could, and if it was true, and wave it away. But by hell, I got a rude awakening when I went to Leeds, because they resented what I'd said about them to such an extent that from day one I walked through the doors, it was absolute agony for the 44 days I stayed there, from staff and players. Now, if you can't get your players on your side, you've got no chance.
Well, things went from bad to worse. There were stories of a players' revolt, and the rumours grew stronger that Clough was about to be sacked. And the results on the field did nothing to strengthen his case.
But we didn't win every single match we played, and they just won the championship, and I was getting the feedback having a side won a championship. Sometimes, and in fact, actually, I think it's a fact of life. It's harder to hang on to success than to get it. And I found myself having gone to Leeds with 8 contracts to be done. Now, that didn't frighten me, but it entailed a lot of work. And I mentioned it to the local paper. He says, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm busy doing contracts in the moment." I said, "There's about 8 of them. Gilesy was finished, or about finished. I fixed him up to go to assistant manager at Tottenham. He said yes and then refused, having met Bill Nicholson, because Bill wanted to groom him to take over Tottenham. And it was all sorts of things, and it was a 24-hour day job, and a hard job. But that's what they were paying me for.
And they had been very close to Revie, who'd, I mean, whatever you feel about him, had managed them superbly, really.
Not much. He was like I was at Derby, one of them.
Yes.
And he'd got it off to a fine art. Everything that was good about the game and everything that was rotten.
You talked about winning the championships better or differently. Our record is there to be seen for 11 years.
Yes.
Right? The first 4 to 5 years, I've always said this, we played for results. The last 4 to 5 years, we've been the most entertaining side by crowd entertainment and topping charts with national newspapers and television.
Also, Don, the disciplinary chart.
The disciplinary chart...
You topped that.
We topped that once.
Well, you topped it for the last 2 or 3 years.
No, that's not true. It wasn't 100% right, I will agree.
Sorry?
It wasn't 100% right, discipline on the field, and last year we straightened it out.
Well, it was. You were the top.
Yeah. But when you see, Brian, when you talk about coming to take the Leeds job, and you had all these things and all these worries about stepping in my shoes and one thing and another.
Which I had.
Yes, you had. But why did you come from Brighton to Leeds to take it over when you'd criticised them so much and said we should be in the second division for this and we should do this and we should do that? Why do you take the job?
No, because I thought it was the best job in the country.
Of course it was the best job in the country.
I was taking over the league champions.
Yeah, you were taking over the league champions. You were taking over the best bunch of players that you've ever seen.
Well, I didn't know about the players, Don.
You didn't know?
I didn't know them intimately like you do. But I know you were the league champions and I was taking over the league champions. I wanted to have a crack at the European Cup this year.
Yes.
I think that was near and dear to your heart also.
Yeah. Yes.
I wanted to win it. I wanted to do something you hadn't done. Now, when I think I said it to Trevor Cherry, actually, or mostly the players, he said to me, what can you do that the boss hadn't done? You, the boss, referring to you. And I said, I want to win the league, but I want to win it better. Now, there is no other reply to that question.
No,
because you had won the league.
Yeah, but there's no way you could win it better.
Why not?
No.
But that's the only hope I've got.
We'd only lost 4 matches.
But I can only lose 3.
No.
I couldn't give any other answer. And I wanted to win the European Cup. I believe that it was just a fraction, Don. A fraction. I don't know this because I've not spoken to you. But I believe it was a fraction whether you took the England job or had another shot at the European Cup.
That is totally true, because I was so involved with the players and everybody at Elland.
Good lad. Now, I wanted to do that, and I want to do it better than you. You can understand that, can't you?
Yes.
But when I got the sack, Cousins came to me and said, it's not working out, is it? I said, it's working out fine for me, so just give me a bit of time. And the final crunch was...
So you were happy, you would have been happy to have stayed at Leeds?
Oh, I'd have stuck it out, of course I would. Give over. I'd just signed, once again, I just signed a 4-year contract. There's no way I was going from Leeds. And he said it isn't working out. And what had pushed them over the cliff, or whatever happens in their particular world, I tried to sign Peter Shilton. And they had a goalkeeper called Harvey, who was reputed to be a good one and that. And I think he kicked up a bit about, I'm not getting replaced with Shilton. They were faced with Shilton for 250,000 quid in those days. That's all it was. And they weren't too happy. And I didn't take the advice of a guy called Collins, who was a nice gentleman and still in the game,
Tony
Collins. And he came to me after about 2, 3, 4 weeks or whatever it was, and said to me, he says, don't try and do it too quickly. He says, you're trying to do it too quickly. And I was. Because I lived by the rule that in the first 3 months of a Football League manager's life, you're at your strongest. Get all the unpleasant stuff out the way. If you've got a bum for a chairman or a guy who's following you around on the board, you might as well just stop and say, just a minute, you ain't following me anywhere. Get out my way. I've come here to do a job for 3 months, and do all the unpleasant stuff. It's the best way to do it, because you're never stronger as a Football League manager than you are in the first 3 months. Unless you hang around for 15 years and then, you know.
So I mean, you feel you may have tried to change things too quickly.
Yes. Much too quickly. Yeah.
So came the fateful day. Leeds chairman Manny Cousins told the waiting press that Clough was sacked to keep the players happy. Brian certainly wasn't sorry for himself.
I think it's a very sad day for Leeds. I think it's slightly sad for football.
Why is he going, Mr. Cousins? I mean, there is no answer to that question.
Because we've been spoilt by Don Revie. A new manager coming after 13 or 14 years of success, it is very difficult to follow.
He gave me 25,000 quid. He said, it's not working out, is it? And I was quite prepared to sit it out. And I said, of course it'll work out, man. I said, give it time. And he says, no, he said, all that type of thing. And he finished up giving me 25,000 quid, which was an ex gratia payment in those days. And he gave me a lovely blue Mercedes, which he'd just bought me. And it had only been delivered about a week, and that was worth about 6,500 quid. And I took the cheque down to London, because having got the sack after 44 days, I didn't trust him at all. Anybody who was that shallow and that stupid to sack me after 44 days must be suspect. But he'd signed the cheque personally, but I took it down and got it cleared, instead of going through the normal channels where I'd have had to wait 3 or 4 days. Good came out of that because I came financially secure for the first time in my life, and I always knew I was a good Football League manager. Yes. But having got financially secure, then I could really go to town and put it into operation, because that was the fears in those days that kept you down a bit.